Detroit has been in control of the NFC North for the majority of this season, but unfortunately for them, the Vikings have continued to win, and this sets up a winner-take-all scenario where the winner could get the NFC's 1 seed and it's only bye week, and the loser has to drop down to the 5th seed. It's kind of weird to think about that a 14-win team could be playing on the road on Super Wildcard Weekend. This begs the question that I've been thinking about heading into the final weeks of this year, that should division winners be hosting home playoff games? There's been some rare scenarios, and I think it's been coming up more and more in recent years, that some of these wildcard teams actually have better records than some of these division winners. And I don't think division winners should just be automatically eliminated better than them, but I do think that it is a tiebreaker situation where they get a playoff berth regardless of the other seedings, but they don't get the home playoff game. And I know there's some money involved in it, and owners are probably not going to be too keen on it, but if you're just talking about how fair this is, I would submit this to the NFL Rules Committee first thing at the end of the season. Think about this year alone, where the loser of this Vikings-Lions matchup would be 14-3, and they would have to go on the road to play either the Rams, Falcons, or Buccaneers, all of which have had at least double the amount of losses than the Lions or the Vikings. Throughout the majority of this season, we've seen that the body of work between either the Lions and Vikings have been much better than all three of those teams. I think the Bucs are a little bit of a weird scenario because they've had a litany of injuries, but regardless, I think both the Vikings and Lions have been better than all those other teams that they could end up playing on the road this postseason. I think division winners deserve an automatic playoff berth. That is absolutely a fact. But to host a home postseason game, I think, is an extreme disservice to the NFL, its competition, and the fans. Imagine if we re-ranked last year's teams that qualified for the postseason. If we ranked the AFC based on best record, the Texans would be the 7th seed, and the Cleveland Browns would actually be the 4th seed. The Dolphins would be at 5, and the Steelers would be at 6. In the NFC, it would be different as well, where the Eagles would be the 4th seed, hosting the LA Rams as the 5th seed, and then the Packers would be 6th, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9 and 8 would be at 7. And through the years, many people will look and see that maybe these are anomalies, but even in 2022, Tom Brady's Buccaneers got into the postseason at 8 and 9, and they were routed by the Dallas Cowboys. There are cases where these division winners get their doors blown off right from the jump. It's not even close. And I think that the rare cases that they do end up winning is attributed to them having home field advantage. Many people will harp back to 2011, where the matchup where we saw the 7 and 9 Seattle Seahawks beat the defending Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints. And I think the reason why they even had an opportunity to be competitive in that game was because they had played that game in Seattle. If that game was played in New Orleans, or if we were to re-rank the 2011 postseason seedings in the NFC, I don't even think the New Orleans Saints would even be a road team. They would probably be hosting, and the Seahawks would probably be on the road getting trounced and bounced out. We wouldn't even hear about the Beastquake. That's really my main argument in this, is that if we are talking about the best teams to make the postseason, we see this in the NBA where division winners isn't a big deal there. They just care about the best 8 teams in each conference. And there's already talks about the NBA maybe adapting it to the overall best 16 teams and forgetting about conference, because in many years, the Eastern Conference in the NBA has been a lot weaker, and we're seeing teams in the Western Conference getting deprived of postseason appearances at a 500 record. I think that does justify one of those NBA teams out of the West to make the Eastern postseason bracket. But getting back to the NFL, I think that division winners deserve a playoff berth, but not a home playoff game.